Hello. Is anybody out there in YouTube land? How's it going today? Anybody out there? Welcome to Shop Talk for October the 7th. First Shop Talk of October. And we are at a different time tonight than normal. I made the announcement late in the afternoon today. I hope you guys saw that. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I've been talking about maybe changing the time for several weeks now because I got put over on day shift. For 18 years I worked night shift. So that's why I had my live stream at 7 p.m. And then about a month ago, 5-6 weeks ago, they said I was going to be going to day shift. So here I am on day shift. And it's just absolutely a struggle for me to get here and go live by 7. Like literally today I got off of work at 7:15. And when I realized that late in the afternoon, I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and put the announcement out on my post and hopefully people see it. If they don't, then they will either miss the show or they can always check back later and check the show. The video will be posted once it closes out, like it always does. So we are at Shop Talk today, October the 7th. How's everybody doing today? I have quite a few things to go over tonight, but I was kind of like hanging out to see if anybody shows up. And so we'll just give it a few more minutes, and then we will get started. Have a lot going on. Really have a lot going on. So a lot of it's work and a lot of it is car stuff. So anyway, I have a couple of different views, and like I always try to do. For some reason, this one likes to freeze up. I don't know why. I still haven't figured it out, but I have my finger on the trigger in case that happens, so I can switch it back. But anyway, it's October in the Midwest, and it's been, in the low 80s, mid 80s. Even last weekend, it was 87. I went to a friend's show down in Anderson, Indiana, called the RPM Transmission. They hold it at the RPM Transmission store down there in Anderson. And my friend Diane and Casey O'Brien, that I know from the Camaro Club, that I met them last year down at Camaro Fest. They are great people. And they put a show on down in Anderson. This was the 4th year. And I started going last year, so I missed the first 2. And my goal is to go every year. So that in 10 years I can say I've gone for 10 years. How about that? Just to show support for my friends. It's an hour-and-a-half drive. It's a small function, and I think it was a little smaller this year even from what it was last year. But I heard at the show that they had several other shows going on down by there. I think one was even in Kokomo or Jonesboro. Maybe the one in Jonesboro was happening. I'm not sure. probably shouldn't run my mouth unless I know for sure, but let me see if I can find some photos from that. I think I have quite a few on here. Maybe not quite a few, but I have a few. Oh my goodness, I forgot to save that. So I want to show you this one. Let's show you this one here. This is a really nice first gen. And my friend Connie bought this car in January. I think she said January. Now the story behind that is she had a yellow Camaro first gen that I met her last year at the show, and her car, it was amazing. And I thought I had a photograph of it, but I guess I don't, so I won't try to show it to you. I think I might have deleted it or moved it. Anyway, she let her grandson use the car, and his girlfriend was in the passenger seat, and two of his other friends were in the back seat. And no, they weren't horsing around in Grandma's first-gen Camaro. They were just going out for a fun ride, and somebody hit them at 80 mile an hour, T-boned the car, 80 mile an hour. Everybody survived, which is great. I think her grandson was injured. The girlfriend, however, had to go through several surgeries and probably will not be obviously she won't be 100% the rest of her life because it was a bad accident. I'm not going to show you pictures of the wreck or anything, but I will tell you that it was a bad deal. And the worst part about the whole deal, the guy that hit him didn't have insurance. That's terrible. And so anyway, she ended up going out and buying this car, which it's amazing. Her and one of her other friends, they do a lot of work on it, and it's a great car. This is Connie here. She's a nice lady. Like I said, I met her last year, and I was really heartbroken. Just tore me up to hear that story because that's just not cool. Here's another first gen. I got a little video of it. I'm gonna mute it though, so you don't have to hear the noise. But I took a video of this and sent it to my friend Dale over in Ohio, because he's got a really amazing car called Casper, and I think you've probably seen that car before. But anyway, I took a video of that, and there's this video. This is a C6 Z06. It's got the 7.0 LS7 in it, and I'm absolutely in love with this platform. I think it's a great car, and from what I understand, they all come with manual transmissions. So that car and that platform has really just absolutely piqued my interest, because I want a manual and I want a Corvette, as you all know. So anyway, moving right along. Well, I guess I got a couple more. I don't know why I did that. I have a couple more photos to show you. Let's see. Well, I guess I should maybe thumb through the ones that I don't necessarily need to put up. But here is the myself and two other people, members of the Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club. Russ and his wife came over from over by Columbus. They drove, I think, 4 hours for this car show. And then, of course, Diane and Casey and Ken O'Brien, all three of them are members as well of the NEOCC. So, yeah, I just thought I'd show you that photograph. That's a pretty good pic. And this is the flyer for it. So I would just show you that. It's 1426 West 53rd Street, Anderson, Indiana. This year was the 4th year for it. So maybe mark your calendar next year if you live in the Indianapolis area. You can, check it out. This is actually another C6 Z06 that I saw at the show. I talked to the young man there that bought this car. He traded his 5th gen Camaro in at a dealership to get this beautiful C6 Z06. Absolutely crazy about it. It's beautiful. I didn't take a video of it, but anyway, I just thought I'd show you those few photos that I had from last week. Yeah, so I don't know why I keep shutting that off. It's an accident. Yeah, this is the so these two cars here are Casey and Diane O'Brien's cars, and this is the front of the business RPM transmission. So yeah, and then there's SICK 1LE. So what do you think about my little sign right here? I put that on the ground. Actually, last year, I made these little signs. Basically, it's just a little plaque that shows that I'm a member of the NEOCC. And the way I got the idea was actually at this show last year. The club that had them, I didn't see any of them there. They weren't there. They must have been at the other show in Kokomo. So I was hoping to see more of those, so I could show you guys how I got this idea. The one that I designed is a little bit different from what they have, but I think it's pretty cool. That day I had it on the ground in front of my car. So anyway, that's my little plaque that I made. So yeah, so I wanted to just show you those real quick. And then I'm going to move into something else real quick. I got to find the photographs first, though, if I can. Oh, well, I don't have photos of that, I guess. But so anyway, this Sunday, 2 days ago on Sunday, I went back out to Bumper Wilson Tuning. My friend Brad brought his car up from Columbus, Ohio, because he had some work done on his car, and there were some things that he didn't have done, and he just wasn't happy with the place that he took it before. So over having conversations with him at various car shows, and he talked to me about what I did to my car, he decided to bring it up to Bumper Wilson Tuning and have Sean do his magic. And so we're pretty excited because Sunday afternoon, we went out there and put his car on the dyno, which is really cool of Sean to, he went away for the weekend to have fun and do his weekend thing, but he came back and hurried up and took a shower and then put Brad's car on the dyno so we would be able to get a number on it before he tore it down starting yesterday. And we're pretty excited to see what the outcome is going to be on that, and I'll keep you posted on it. And of course, I'm probably going to have a video on it. That's at Brad's request. I offered to do it, and he said absolutely. So I don't have any of it put together at this point, but I will probably be working on one for that thing. But we have to wait until it's done and then get the final numbers on the dyno. But I believe the way the car was set up was 448 horse to the back wheel, and Sean said he's hoping to add, right around 100 to that. So once we get it all taken care of, or once they get it done, I'm not doing it. Once they get it done, then I'll share all that information with you. But I got to do that Sunday, which is awesome. And then I got to find out where I'm supposed to go. So let me back up a little bit here and tell you that while I was having a conversation with Sean about that, we were at his shop down there. Sean actually is the one that told me that Lingenfelder, the company that's been around forever in Decatur. Now, you know that they started their performance business in Decatur, and then they bought a facility up in Michigan, and a lot of their business has been like gravitating toward Michigan. And sad news, they just closed the facility here in Decatur. I was blown away when Sean told me that, because when he did my project on my car, he literally took my car apart, took the heads off, and drove them down to the Lingenfelder shop in Decatur. And they had them for over a week, and they CNC ported them and milled them. So it's really bad news, to find out that Lingenfelder closed their doors, at least the ones in Decatur. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means, they just decided to consolidate, because I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody from there. But I was shocked when Sean told that to me, and told that to Brad and I when we were at the shop down there. That's terrible news, I think. So I wanted to just mention that to you real quick. And so, moving into some of the news, I can see that nobody's really tuning in, and I guess that's that's probably to be expected, because the first 14 I did them at 7 o'clock, and then now I'm changing to 8 o'clock. So hopefully I don't have to change it anymore. The only thing that would make it change again is if they put me back on third shift. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen for quite a while. So I went ahead and decided to move it to 8 o'clock, only because it's just almost impossible for me to get home sometimes by 7. So it's very rare that I have to work, more than like 12 hours. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know, moving forward from now on, it'll be 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So, and then now, if you watch my channel, you know that I've gone to Lakeside Chevrolet in Warsaw, Indiana, and I do a walkthrough of their Corvette showroom, and I do a video and show you all the Corvettes and Camaros that they have on the floor. And I've been doing that since May. And so one of the really cool things that when you do that consistently, you start to become friends with the people that work there. You start to know them. When I started doing it, I'd walk in, or I'd pull up in the car and, 2 or 3 salesmen would come out. Hey, what are you looking for something? Like, no, I'm just here to, film for my YouTube channel. And now they all know that that's why I'm there, is to film for the YouTube channel. So I've already done October, and when I was out there doing the filming for September, I was really wanting to do some content on the C8 Corvette. And so they know I'm not there right now to buy a Corvette, because they know I have a Camaro. They know I have, another vehicle, a Jeep. But they've been really gracious with letting me come in there and film their cars. And I appreciate that. So anyway, I was out there filming in September, and I said, hey, can you ask the boss? The boss name is Andy. I said, can you ask the boss, would he let me take one of the C8 Corvettes out? And Andy wasn't there. One of the other guys was. And he's like, well, we don't really want you to do that because, we know you're not going to buy a C8 Corvette right now. I said, okay, that's cool. No problem. I understand. And I went ahead and filmed my thing. And this month, October, I went out there to film my October. And they were moving some cars around on the showroom floor. And Andy happened to be out there, the manager, and he said, hey, did you see the new 26 C8? And I was like, yeah, I saw that. He said, have you seen the interior? And I said, well, I have seen the interior, and I've seen the new layout of the dash, but I haven't been able to actually see it with with it lit up properly, because if you just get in the car in the showroom and you push the auxiliary button, the instrument panel lights up, but it doesn't actually come on. It just lights up. It says Corvette across across one of the screens. And then it's got an emblem on another screen. So it doesn't technically light up the way it's supposed to. And I said that. I told him, I said, hey, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it because it was on the showroom floor. You have to start the car in order to see what the dash looks like, And he said, well, how about it? I'll give you the key. You could take it out back and, look at it. And I was like, really, dude? I said, I can't really do it right now, but I'd love to come back another time if that's cool, and do that. And he's like, that would be all right. And I was blown away by that. Like, that just blows my mind that they let me do that. And so I also knew, because I look at their website almost daily, I also knew that they had a Roswell green car coming in. So I called my salesman. My salesman's name is Roman, by the way. And I said, hey, Roman, when's the Roswell green C8 coming in? He said, we just got it off. It just came off the truck. It just got here. It's on the floor right now. So he sent me a photograph of it. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This car is absolutely beautiful. Right? So, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I said, when can I come out there and do a review on it? Because Andy told me I could come out and take a C8 for a drive and do a review on it for my channel. And he's like, well, what works for you? And I said, actually, Saturday works best for me. And he said, okay, so cool. So Saturday morning, I went to the RPM show in Anderson. And then when I left Anderson, I got in my car and I drove to, I drove up to Warsaw, and I did a video. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out because it's pretty cool. I need a car to match my energy. I don't know how well that audio comes through, but I took a green monster with me just so I could do that. That's pretty cool, I think, right? Here's another one. It's a couple photos, maybe. No, that's a video. It's taking a minute to load. Let's see if we can load it. I'll mute that because I don't think I said anything in that one, but that's a little bit shorter one, so I can use it for Instagram. And as you can see, it's vertical, so you have to shoot stuff vertical for Instagram and horizontal for for YouTube. So those are all shot that in that orientation, as you would say. But yeah, anyway, I was like unbelievable that I had the chance to go out there and drive a $90,000 C8 Corvette convertible 1LT Roswell green. Like I am absolutely in love with Roswell green. It blows my mind. And that car is actually the first time that I was able to see that car in that color in the sun. The other two that I saw, the first one I saw was at the NCM Museum in Bowling Green when I was down there for Camaro Fest. And the second one I saw was at another dealership I was passing through and saw the car. And that one was on the floor inside. So last Saturday was the first time I was able to see that particular car in the sun. And I'm telling you what, if you haven't seen that yet, you have to check it out because, oh my goodness, it is unbelievable. Like the just black wheels, and the Roswell green is just phenomenal. Like it's just crazy how cool it looks. So I wanted to tell you about that. Again, if you haven't watched the video, make sure you go check it out. And when you watch it, hit the thumbs up. Maybe make a comment on it if you, after you watch the video, see what you think, and let me know what you think about it because it's a pretty cool video. So anyway, while I was out there, I've talked to them many times about my hopes and dreams, and you guys all know that my hopes and dreams are to someday have a Corvette. Now, I struggle with, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Hopefully you don't get tired of hearing me say it, but I struggle with, do I want a C7 manual or do I want to just order a C8? Because for the same money, like a C7, because they have held their value, and a lot. One of the reasons I think that they've held their value so much is because there are a lot of people out there that insist on having a motor in the front of them, rear-wheel drive motor in the front. Obviously, the C8 is a mid-engine car, and there's a lot of older people, hardcore Corvette people that don't really want a mid-engine car, and that's okay because I think GM is actually, GM is actually shooting to target a younger audience and make it available because of all the supercars out there, the Porsche and the Lamborghinis and the McLarens and all of the different models that are out there. They have really worked hard on becoming or having a platform that can be in the midst of all that. So that's why they're doing it, I think. That's my opinion. And so I've struggled with, do I start with a C6 because I showed you the C6 a little bit ago. The C6 Z06, from what I understand, they only make that in a manual transmission. If I'm wrong and you know that I'm wrong, make sure you tell me that in the comment below. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've heard. I haven't been able to find it anywhere in writing, so I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I heard. So the C6 Z06 is always manual, and then they've got the C7, that's that you can get a Z06 with a supercharger on it. And those with the manual transmission are hot items. Like, they want the same amount of money for one of those. Like, we're talking 85, 90,000 for one of those, as you can go and build a brand new C8 Corvette for the same money. And so anyway, I came home Saturday and just in awe of being able to drive that C8. It was phenomenal. I shared in the video my opinion, and driving the car. When you sit in your studio and you look at the computer and I build all these different platforms. I build, different colors. I add the 1LT, the 2LT. I'm trying to figure out what package I want. I look at the Z06. I don't even really look at the ZR1 because that's way above what I'm probably ever going to buy. I do look at them, because obviously it would be a dream to have something that phenomenal, but I'll probably never get one. So I try to stay in my lane. And with that being said, I came home on Sunday and I literally I spent probably 2 hours just building that car. And I'm like, okay, I have to have a 2LT. I really want Roswell green. And in the video that I did, I was like, 1LT is not enough. And I don't really want a convertible because I think that's a lot of money to take the top down. But then there are other things, other aspects of that could possibly sway your opinion. And if you have a C8, and again, I don't have one, but I've heard other people talking about, the coupe, how it has just a windshield or just the shield over the back of the motor, and it's got vents in it. Well, when it rains, or if you wash your car, if you don't cover up those vents, then it literally rains right on the motor. And so then when it dries and you pop the hood, there's spots all over your motor. And that is something that everybody is annoyed with. They hate it. And so if you get caught driving it in the rain, you have no control over it because you're not going to get out and cover the vents. The vents are there to release the heat from the motor. The only thing that you can do is when you wash it, cover the vents. Now, I know there's a lady out there that actually makes an insert that goes down into the 3 sections of venting on both sides of the glass so that you can put those vent covers in there and then wash the car. And you might just get maybe a few drops of water in there. I don't know. I've not actually seen one of those in action, but there are a lot of people that love them. So anyway, with that being said, it was a gorgeous day. Saturday was absolutely beautiful. I think it was 79 degrees and sunny, and I got to drive that Roswell green. And when they gave me the car, the convertible top was down. I put it up so I could do my review while I drive, and I could talk on the camera and you can hear what I'm saying. And then at the end of my journey, I went ahead and stopped, and then I put the top down just to see what it was like, to drive it with the top down. And that screen in the back actually will go up and down behind the seat, and it's amazing. Like, I put the screen up, and it was really comfortable in there. When you put the screen down, you got a little bit of the whipping your head around or whatever, but not enough to make a difference or make you frustrated with it or anything. But by the time I was done, I was like, dude, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm probably going to spend a little bit more and get the convertible, because why not, right? Especially if I ordered it. If I spec'd it out for me, I would probably order it the way I want it. And, so anyway, moving along from there, they have also recently, 5 or 6 weeks ago, they did a recall on the 23 to 26 Z06 and the ZR1. And I've talked about this in the last 2 episodes, I believe, of Shop Talk. And the frustrating thing about that is, every single time I've talked to service departments, I've called several different ones just to see if they're all saying the same thing. And they basically are. They're saying at this point, they don't really have a specific part to fix that problem. So they've got a stop sale on all the dealers. The dealers aren't allowed to sell a Z06 or a ZR1. And then I found out this week that as of September 1st, they have fixed the problem. And so if your car was built after September 1, 2025, you can still buy the car. You can still go pick it up because they have fixed that problem. However, they have not sent the part that fixes the problem out to the dealers yet, so that the dealers can put that part on their cars that they have on the floor and have the people bring their cars back in and have that part added to their car. So it is for just the left side of the radiator. From what I understand, the gas gets down on the ignition coil and it ignites, and that's what caused the fire. And so anyway, from September 1 production on, everything is good. And they have actually put the Z06 and the ZR1 back on the internet on Chevy.com. They are now listed again. And if you go in there, I'm not going to do it now for the sake of time, but if you go in there and look at it, you can find that there are several hundred cars around the country that are sitting, or most of them are in transit. But they are starting to get out to the dealerships, and there are some available. But they still, to my knowledge, they still have not lifted the stop sale, and dealers still cannot sell a Z06 or a ZR1 at this point, not until they fix their cars. So, like I've always said before, that's what I'm putting on my Shop Talk tonight. But watch, tomorrow I'll get an email from GM Authority saying that everybody's good and they got their parts. I don't know. It just blows my mind that, they've had 2 instances where the cars caught on fire and burned to the ground, and everybody freaks out, and now they won't let them sell them. $100,000 cars, and you can't buy one because of that. But anyway, like that's just crazy, I think. Now, I do have something else here that I wanted to talk about real quick, if I can find the information real quick. Let's see. So I should have probably got a photo to share with you on this, but I didn't. So shame on me. But anyway, so they've reintroduced a trim level extra. Now they took it out for, I believe it was 24 and 25. The option was not available for 24 and 25 model year. Pricing comes in at $2,495, with availability set exclusively for the Stingray 3LT trim level. So you have to get the 3LT trim level in order to get this. But it is the visible carbon fiber grill insert, and it is considered a genuine Corvette accessory. I wish I had a photograph, but I don't. I have one in front of me, and I forgot to load that again. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I got stuck at work and didn't have time to do it. So anyway, they've reintroduced that. They did away with it for 24 and 25, but it is available now back on the internet in the 3LT level, trim level. I wanted to share that with you. And then my news for tonight, I'm just going to go ahead because we're already 41 minutes into shop talk. And again, when you watch this, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Blast me a comment if you would. That would make my day. And you guys all know that a couple weeks ago I put my Camaro up for sale. I took all kinds of hassle from friends. Now I just spent the last couple years, and I'm on my third Camaro, and I've met a lot of really cool Camaro people, and I don't plan on leaving the Camaro community at all. Not at all. As a matter of fact, just because I put my car up for sale doesn't mean that I don't like my Camaro friends or anything. Like, I still like you guys, and I still want to be hanging out with you guys. And here's the thing. I am actually struggling with it. I had a guy that was real serious about buying my car, and I was having a tough time with it. I literally was having a really tough time with it because I've had that car for a year and a half, and I took it over to my friend at Bumper Wilson Tuning in March, and he did an amazing job on the motor. It provides me with so much joy to drive that car. It's ridiculous. Like, that car is incredible. I love it. Anyway, I've struggled with it, but here's the thing. I have the 23 SS 1LE, and I also have a 2024 Jeep Wrangler, right? It's got 5,000 miles on it, this Jeep. If you look real close, you can see that I've got even on the windows. I just put this on there. I was actually going to do a video on it, and I didn't. I wonder if I can zoom in on that. I can't. It won't let me. So, yeah, anyway, this is my 2024. The day that I took these photographs, I took the two front panels out of the top in the front. I've had this for a little over a year. It's got 5,004 miles on it. And a couple weeks ago was the first time I ever took the two panels out of the top. And I've never had the top off. The back part of the top. I've never had that off. So I love it. I love the Jeep. But do you guys realize how much a Jeep costs? Like, they're expensive. And so I've said that to say this. I also put my Jeep on the internet for sale. And I've just been struggling with, like, if I got rid of both my car and my Jeep, I could have a really nice Corvette. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, that's where I'm at. But the other thing is, like, if I end up keeping the 23 Camaro, that doesn't make me mad at all. Not at all. But getting rid of one or both of these vehicles helps me get to the Corvette quicker. And so I literally sold my Jeep today. So that's my big news. I sold this Jeep today. I haven't delivered it yet, but I sold it. It's no longer mine. But guess what? Those of you that were freaking out that I put my Camaro up for sale, I still have it. I still drive it. I'm not going to get rid of it anytime soon. Now it's the only thing I have to drive, right? It's my main car. Like I'm forced to drive it now. You know, so I wanted to share that with you, that like, because it's exciting for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's exciting for me because I love my Camaro, and I honestly want to keep it. I really do. But I have this other thing tugging at me, and it's called a Corvette. You know, if nobody buys my Camaro, I will continue to drive this car until such time that I can get a Corvette, and then I'll get a Corvette, and I'll have, you know, I said probably 2 weeks ago on the show that I was probably not ever going to have two cars, but I could see myself keeping this car because I think I have a special bond with it. I've had it on the track a couple times. I had all the motor work done. It doesn't really make sense for me to get rid of it right now, but something had to go, and so I literally sold my Jeep today. And that's really the news that I wanted to share with you. And I hope that this information finds you well. Like, literally, I do a lot of Corvette and Camaro content on my show. I love Chevrolets. They are my favorite. I probably will never own anything other than a Chevrolet. And so anyway, I don't know what I'm saying now other than, you know, thanks for listening to me yammer on. You know, I mean, seriously, it's just, it's in my blood. I'm a Chevy guy. Like, I've had Chevy pickups, you know. I did have a Ford at one point, but not for very long. Anyway, thanks for tuning in tonight. Again, just a friendly reminder, I'm going to move the show to 8 o'clock, and I will be more diligent with putting, you know, the next one up before the night of. And I promise I'll do that, because for some reason I dropped the ball. I thought I had one on, and when I looked at it today, it wasn't there. So I know when you do that, it sends out notifications to my subscribers. And again, I apologize for not having that in order. I just been crazy 60-hour weeks lately. And then car shows up every weekend on the weekend, which I love, because before long it's going to be cold and we can't do the car show thing. So anyway, just a reminder, you know, 8 o'clock, Lingenfelder closed their doors in Decatur on the 28th, I believe, of September. Thanks again, Andy and Roman out at Lakeside Chevrolet for letting me test drive the freaking amazing C8 Corvette Roswell Green. Make sure you check out the video on my channel. And as far as what's coming up, like, the only thing that I know that's coming up right now is Cars and Coffee on Saturday. I think we've got 4 weeks of that left here locally because of weather. The last one, I believe, is November, the first Saturday in November, which is November 1st. And that'll be the last one for Cars and Coffee, at least up in the Fort Wayne area. Other than that, I don't really know of any other major shows going on coming up in the next couple of weeks. But I will be back in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tonight, and that makes it the 21st of October. And everybody enjoy your fall. And I'm telling you, get your car out when it's beautiful. Take it out. Take photos of your amazing car in the amazing color of fall. And I've always said that the older I get, the more I don't really care about fireworks, because I think if you've seen one thing go up in the air and explode, you've kind of seen them all. You go, ooh, it's cool. But one thing I will tell you, I can honestly tell you that my favorite time of year is the fall. And the reason why my favorite time is the fall is because of the color of the trees. There's something about it. It's just, I wish it could be like that all year instead of green. I understand that has to do with nature things, but, fall to me is the most beautiful time of the year. Get yourself a caramel apple, get you some apple cider, have a pumpkin, coming up for Halloween, whatever. Celebrate. Make sure you continue to drive your car up until the time you just can't drive it when the snow flies, and enjoy it. And I will be back in 2 weeks on October the 21st, 2025 at 8 p.m. And thank you for hanging out with me tonight on Shop Talk. I will see you later. Have a good night.